in addition to the set of pens that you were asked to purchase, you are also to get a triangle and a scale. Okay, and we'll be going through both of these equipment. So the scale that you were asked to get was an architect scale. If you look at it right here, if you read up close, it should say architect. It should look like where it says 16, it should look like a regular ruler that you're pretty much used to using, with slight difference that is shaped as a little weird star shape, three-pointed star shape with several fractions of an inch and such marked on its edge. Do not confuse that with an engineering scale. Engineering scale would state that it's an engineering scale. It looks kind of like the regular scale that we have, 0 to 12, but if you look at each of these markings on the side, it would say 40, 50, nice round round numbers in tens. Okay, and please do not mistake it also with, this one says architect, but it is a metric scale. Okay, metric scale usually has a ratio on these things, so please do not get these. What we're looking for is just an architect scale. Okay, you will be using the other scales later in your architectural career and education, so at one point you may purchase these things, but for now an architect scale would do. You are also asked to purchase a triangle. This one is a 45-45 triangle, non-inking edge, but I believe in this class we set for you to get a 30-60 triangle, and this one is a non-inking edge, and this one right here is a 30-60 triangle with an inking edge. Difference between an inking edge and a non-inking edge is that in its profile. If we look at it right on the profile, they are shaped different at the edge. Okay, so what that entails is that a non-inking triangle, if you look at the profile, it will look somewhat like a regular rectangle. Okay, and if we lay it on a piece of paper, we'll pretend that this is a piece of paper right here, it should just, the edge should touch the piece of paper. Okay, while on the other hand, a inking edge has a different profile to it, and that profile looks like this, where the top of the edge, it has a little notch, and the bottom may have notch as well. Okay, there are two different types of inking edge. One is just notched on one side, the other is notched on both sides. If you get the one that is notched on both sides, you could always flip and use either side of the triangle. Okay, so what these mean is that when you are drawing, especially with like these technical pens, remember we had different thickness of these guys, please note that it has a little sleeve right here and then a point. Okay, usually you wind up taking these guys and putting it right up against the triangle when you ink right through. So when you're inking, you'll be doing this. Okay, what that means is that on a inking triangle, because there's a little notch there, even the sleeve is there, and then the pen does something like that. Okay, the ink part will not touch the edge of the triangle. Okay, so the edge of the triangle will not touch. What that means is that that this ink and this triangle edge will never touch. Whereas on a non-inking triangle, there is a possibility that depending on how close we go and the sleeve and such, it is quite possible that the tip of this ink might touch the edge of the triangle. What usually then happens is that through capillary action, the ink might get sucked underneath the triangle. What that winds up you having is a smudged up drawing. So whenever you ink, it's not a bad idea to have a inking triangle. Of course, if you're careful, you might be able to save yourself from that. But how this works is that we're going to use it mainly as a edge so that we can draw a straight line. Okay, so I'm going to take this thing and use it as an edge. And what we're going to do is to go right up against it, and this will allow you to draw a straight line. Okay, and that is the main point of this thing. Now, when you're in our 141 drawing class, you will have a parallel rule or T-square or something. There is a little trick if you use two of these edges, since we could line this up to a line or something, and then line another straight edge, and then move that across, and that, following this edge right here, that will allow you to draw a parallel set of lines. Okay, this thing we don't really need to do, but just letting you know that in a pinch we can use the triangles with each other to create a makeshift T-square. Okay,